You might know that many language gurus come from engineering and IT. Their presence in language learning is quite meaningful, and if you want to know more, watch my video called Who Runs Language Learning? So, lots of engineers in language learning. The partial reason for this is that early on they had the means of production. They knew how to design websites or learning programs as they were called back then, and so that gave them all the power in the 2000s during what some call the Great Impostor Takeover. So it gave them a lot more presence than real teachers who got left behind. It's as if one person sold beautiful furniture, but the other person knows how to build loudspeakers, which helps him sell his cracked furniture. So it came down to who was the loudest, and now everyone is sitting on chairs with nails going through their arses. But the actual, more meaningful reason is that when you look at the core competence behind any type of engineering, it's systems, mechanical systems. Engineers look at languages as a problem to fix, even if they genuinely enjoy them. And they might have a light bulb moment after a holiday abroad and say, hey, I could probably invent a better system. I think in terms of systems anyway, because of my engineering degree. And they build websites which you use. So they ask themselves the question, hey, how hard can this be? You just sort of divide all the verbs on this timeline by the number of tenses and you remember the tense endings and that's it. Let's divide language into horizontal and vertical columns. Or they might even say, hey, the average person only uses 60 verbs. Let's do a website in which these 60 verbs are repeated regularly in these engaging stories. This way the learner will pick up a language without realizing and only practice the necessary stuff. The reason it's so attractive to the consumer is that to learn a language properly, you have to accept to think as a linguist, at least partially. You have to accept the way of thinking of your teacher. It's a new way of seeing words. It's a new way of seeing ordinary language, the one you've used all your life. And there is a strong cognitive conflict in this. But people like us, we're a minority. I mean, who do you know who studies humanities or linguistics? So it's 100 times more enticing to learn with that guy over there who promises clear systems, even though they are 100 times less good than us at what we are trained to do. If you see university studies as a continuum, we are polar opposites. We have engineering over here, we have humanities over here. We are anything that's opposite to straight lines and systems. That's my tribe. But we can also achieve the straight line for you. We can achieve success in language for you, just not in ways that engineers understand. So listen to my story here, because I'm going to give you a glimpse into our world. You know the engineering world. I'm going to show you what our world is about. The engineers don't know that we don't study the history of the armchair by dividing it into centuries and remembering a few features of each. Because the guy who studied history of art properly at university had this insane professor who had them read and analyze 2 novels about this obsessive armchair builder who had this thing for a certain type of hide. And this made us dig deep into the smell of leather, the life of the artisan, and the sweat of the 1600s workshop. And you walk away from this knowing about armchairs. And that was just one course. Because you had this other insane professor who had you write papers on the role of the armchair among the gods of the Olympus, and wanted to know if it's possible that some religious minority from Holland in 1765 had misinterpreted a certain line about that text due to a poor translation from ancient Greek. Either way, whether it's history of art or languages, after 5 years of this deep digging, you actually start to think like an armchair. You know your paintings, you know your architecture and your urban design and your music across just about every political regime from the Roman Empire to the present day. That's what we did as linguists. We lived language from the inside. But those people over there, the engineers, they draw lines and they know about systems. And you still don't know French, do you? Blame those guys. Blame the engineers.